Once upon a time, in a very large and busy city where thousands of people were always walking, talking, working, and moving from one place to another, there lived a kind and intelligent woman whose name was Dr. Emma Hayes. She was not only respected in her community, but also loved by many people because she worked very hard as a psychologist, which means she studied the human mind and tried to help people who were struggling with their thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. From the time she was young, Dr. Emma always had a strong interest in understanding why people behave in different ways, why people sometimes feel happy or sad, and why social interactions can sometimes bring comfort and sometimes bring stress. She believed that if she studied human behavior carefully, she could help many people live a healthier, calmer, and more positive life. Dr. Emma was especially interested in understanding mental health, which is the health of the mind and the emotions. She knew that just as people can get sick in their bodies, they can also experience challenges in their minds, such as sadness, worry, or fear. Because of this passion, she spent many years learning, reading, and practicing different methods that could help people overcome their inner struggles. Every day she welcomed many people to her office, where she listened carefully to their stories, tried to understand their difficulties, and slowly guided them toward healing and growth. Bright morning, Dr. Emma encountered a case that she found both very challenging and also very meaningful. On that day, a young man named Alex came to her office. He looked nervous as he entered the room, and his voice was soft when he greeted her. Alex explained that he needed help because he had been living with something very difficult for many years. He told Dr. Emma that he had intense social anxiety. This meant that he felt very afraid in social situations, especially when he had to speak, meet new people, or be in a group. Alex said that his biggest fear was that people would judge him or reject him, and this fear was so strong that it often stopped him from living his life in a normal way. Alex explained in detail that whenever he was at work and there was a meeting, he stayed silent even when he had good ideas because he was afraid people might laugh at him or think he was not smart. He also avoided going to parties or gatherings because the thought of people watching him or judging him made his heart beat fast and his hands shake. Because of these fears, Alex had difficulty making friends, building relationships, and enjoying life. He said that deep inside, he wanted to connect with others and live freely. But his anxiety was like a heavy wall standing in his way. Dr. Emma listened with patience and kindness. She could see that Alex was sincere and that he truly wanted to change his life. She decided to use a method called cognitive behavioral therapy, often called CBT for short. Dr. Emma explained to Alex in simple words that CBT is a technique where people learn to understand their negative thoughts, challenge those thoughts, and then slowly change their behavior. She told Alex that many times, anxiety is made worse by thoughts that may not be completely true. By learning to notice these thoughts, examine them, and replace them with more balanced ideas, people can reduce their fear and build confidence. Together, Dr. Emma and Alex began their journey. The first thing Dr. Emma asked Alex to do was to keep a journal. She told him to write down his thoughts and feelings whenever he felt anxious, especially in social situations. Alex agreed, and he started writing things like, "Everyone is judging me," or "I will embarrass myself if I speak." When Alex shared these writings with Dr. Emma, she encouraged him to look more deeply. She asked questions like, "Do you have clear evidence that everyone is really judging you? And can you think of times when people actually supported you instead of rejecting you?" Through this gentle process, Alex slowly realized that his mind was often tricking him into believing the worst. For example, at a party, Alex once thought that everyone was watching him and thinking badly about him. But when Dr. Emma asked him to remember the details, Alex realized that some people had actually smiled at him, spoken kindly to him, and even welcomed him. He understood that while he could never read other people's minds, there was no real proof that they were judging him harshly. In fact, the evidence showed the opposite, that many people were friendly and open. After working on thoughts, Dr. Emma introduced Alex to another important method called gradual exposure. She explained that if Alex avoided all social situations, his fear would stay strong. But if he faced his fears slowly, step by step, his brain would learn that those situations were not as dangerous as he believed. To make this easier, they created something called a hierarchy of fears. At the bottom of the list were small, less scary tasks, like saying hello to a neighbor or greeting a shopkeeper. At the top of the list were bigger, scarier tasks, like speaking in front of a group or giving a presentation at work. Week by week, Alex practiced these steps. At first, his heart still raced when he said hello to someone, but he reminded himself of Dr. Emma's advice. Slowly, he learned to calm his breathing, focus on the present, and use positive thoughts. As time passed, Alex gained confidence. He realized that many times people responded kindly, and even when a conversation was short or awkward, nothing terrible happened. This gave him courage to try the next step, and then the next, until finally he stood up in a work meeting and shared one of his ideas. To his surprise, people listened carefully and even praised him for his contribution. Over the months, Alex noticed a very big change in himself. His anxiety did not disappear completely, but it became much smaller and much easier to manage. He began to enjoy conversations, laugh with colleagues, and even attend social gatherings. He discovered that his fears, while real in his mind, were often much larger than reality. He learned that he had the power to change his thought patterns, and that with practice, his behavior could change too. Through this journey, Alex also discovered the importance of self-compassion. For many years, he had been harsh on himself, blaming himself for being shy or anxious. But now he learned that it was okay to feel nervous sometimes, because every human being feels nervous at some point. Even the most confident people experience self-doubt. What mattered most was not to avoid anxiety completely, but to face it with courage, patience, and kindness toward oneself. This realization made Alex stronger and more resilient. He no longer saw himself as broken, but as someone growing every day. Dr. Emma was very proud of Alex. She watched his progress with joy and admiration. She knew how difficult the journey had been, but she also knew how powerful the techniques of CBT could be when combined with effort, patience, and guidance. For her, Alex's transformation was a reminder that psychology is not just about theories, but about real people finding real hope. His story gave her even more motivation to continue helping others in the city who struggled with similar fears. Alex's story soon became an inspiration to many. People who heard about his journey realized that with the right support, the right strategies, and the willingness to practice, it was possible to overcome even very strong obstacles in the mind. They saw that mental challenges were not signs of weakness, but opportunities to grow stronger. Alex's courage showed others that they too could build confidence, form friendships, and live fulfilling lives. And so, in that busy city full of noise, traffic, and people rushing every day, there was also a quiet story of one young man who faced his fears and changed his life. With the help of Dr. Emma Hayes and the power of CBT, Alex discovered that life could be brighter, calmer, and full of connection. His journey reminded everyone that healing is possible, that progress is real, and that no one is ever truly alone in their struggles. Thank you so much for watching this story. If you enjoyed listening, and if you learned something useful today, please remember to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for for more simple English stories that can help you learn and grow.